Hello. Did you notice the same previous two speakers use the same theme on their slides? The same one I'm using with the line. Isn't that weird? Cool. So my talk is called Speedy Seeding for Easy Load Testing. Dave did come up with a slightly dubious title, something to do with premature seeding, but never mind. Okay, so this is the scenario. You built a thing, run it in your browser. It seems fast now. Question is, what if it gets popular? What about in the future when you've got 10,000 users on your system, each of them have done 5,000 things, and your database is full? Do you wait for the client to phone you up and say, website's broken, and then you fix it for them then? Or do you test now and make sure it works when it's got a load of data in it so that you can be sure that the client's going to be happy, and then they pay you to build new features that you actually want to build rather than fixing stuff before? Obviously, you all want to make sure it works. So I'm going to give you a scenario now. Don't be too scared. Data model. Just imagine we've got some users, usual thing, name, email, password, and we're building a favorite color app. They're going to have a list of colors, and we're going to have a pivot table, user likes colors. Okay, so it's not going to be a complicated app. We want to see 10,000 users in because we want to make sure that it really works. So we're going to do something like this. We're going to loop over 10,000 times. We're using Laravel notation here, so this is using the eloquent model, the create function. It is as easy as that in Laravel. If you're not familiar with Laravel, by the way, it is one of my favorite frameworks, and I do recommend becoming familiar with it. And that will take about 16 seconds to roll through on your seeder. 10,000 users isn't much use. You actually want those users to look like they've done something. So then you might add another 16 seconds of seeding. All we're simply doing here is we're going to make the first 2,000 users like the color red. Again, this is Laravel notation. We've got the relationship there, which is liked colors. We're going to make the next 2,000 like orange, yellow, green, blue. So we've got 16 seconds of seeding added there. And now we've got 32 seconds of seeding. Every time I seed, you're writing your tests, you're tweaking it, you're changing the way of the data, and you think that's too slow, can't be bothered, it'll probably be all right, and you abandon it. Because you don't actually have to do this stuff. You could wait for the client's site to slow down and then they phone you up, but we don't want to do that, and I don't want you to do that. So I'm trying to encourage you to find a way to not be so scared of it. And now, because I'm mentor, I'm going to do a live demo in a lightning talk. So here is our favorite colors website. It's incredibly complex, as you can see. And if I refresh, oh my God, it refreshes really quickly because it's got 0 users and 0 colors. And we can ship that, and we can let the users start signing up and let them start putting votes. If we go over to PHP Storm, here is our seeder. Now, at the back, can you see that? Is that big enough? I'm going to go slightly bigger. Here we go. So here's our 10,000 users loop. We're adding password, email. Obviously, when you test, you want to test against a known data state, which is why we're being very literal. Notice I'm not using rand function here to generate random stuff. I'm not using faker to generate lorem ipsum. I'm literally saying that I definitely want exactly 10,000 users. I want their name to be user, then a space, oops, and then a number. I want them all to be at example.com, and I want them to like that. So if we SSH into our Vagrant box, and then we run the migrate fresh, so we're going to install a fresh database, and we're going to seed, and it's running. So it's moving through. And I specifically wanted to do this in a lightning talk to waste time so that you can all feel how frustrated you are with this. Now imagine every time you tweak your data and you change your tests and you think, oh, actually I want 2,000 of the users to like this, or I want an odd number, or I want my pie chart different, or sometimes I want less colors. You're going to be running this seeder over and over again every time you tweak your data. And that's what's going to make you give up. And it's also going to annoy your colleagues if your colleagues have to run your seeders. So there we go, 30.58 seconds. Bit frustrating. But if we switch over to the browser, sure enough, we do have 10,000 users created, and we have 2,000, and we can inspect that page, we can test it, we can see that it loads in good time, so we know our code's good to go. So we've been good developers, we've tested our app, but that was still annoying that took 32 seconds. So now I will present to you an alternative. I will do git checkout to the fast branch, Now if I magically switch back, we are using a package called bulk inserter. And this is an open source package which I released last week. It's available on Packagist. Packagist is a library repository which is used by the Composer package manager, which is a Ruby-style library manager and package manager for PHP. It's freely available. At the moment, it's only locked down to Laravel and it's only locked down to MySQL. But I would welcome any pull requests to make it work for other things. But I should probably show you what it does before I ask for pull requests. So we've changed our code slightly here. Let's put it there. So we're still looping over 10,000 times, but this time we're using my bulk inserter. You initialize it like this. Sorry guys, I'm in the way. You initialize it by saying the table name, so we've sort of moved down a level now, we're not so abstracted, and you just give it the columns that you want. We've got two bulk inserters going on. We've got one for the likes, and we've got, so that's user likes table with user ID. And then when we loop over our 10,000, we're still doing our red, orange, yellow, green, but the difference is we just feed in the line that would be raw SQL. And I've kept it loose, so you can literally choose to put it in the quotes, or you can put it outside the quotes. So we are moving down a level, and it does require some little bit of knowledge with SQL, but you shouldn't get too scared about that because reliance upon a framework isn't necessarily too healthy. But you might like it when you see the advantage. And then, and finally, once you've loaded your bulk inserter, it does a single insert, and boom, they all go in. So now, if we go back to our code, SSH into the Vagrant box. Oh, cheeky. If we see it again, whole thing happened in 2.6 seconds. So that's a huge win on time. Now you can imagine having to seed that over and over again as you tweak your data and change the shape for your tests and really just fill your app. I mean, that's 10,000 users with 10,000 votes against them, against the colors. 2.6 seconds, that's a huge win. So I hope you'll appreciate that it's worth stepping one level below the framework. It's a little bit more technical. I have put helpers in there so that if you do forget to put the open brackets, or if you supply not enough arguments, it will give you little hints. It will say you've not provided enough. So I've tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. And if we switch back to our thing, again, just to refresh, just to prove it's worked, again, nothing changed, 10,000 users, 10,000 votes. Whew, the live demo worked in a lightning talk. Okay, so to summarize, from a philosophical point of view, it can be quick and easy to test with shitloads of data, so do it. I hope I've encouraged you that it's a thing that you should be doing. Have I covered everything, Mike? Have I forgotten anything? I've been rehearsing to Mike all week. There you go. My package is available at Packagist /Nemensa/bulk inserter. Thank you very much. I've been Martin Joyner. Don't clap yet, because I want to give a shout out to my employer. I work at Nemensa. They're a really cool company to work for. We're not specifically recruiting at the moment, but we generally like to hear from people who are good and like the kind of philosophy that I've presented here about doing the right thing, keeping things shiny. Yeah, if you want to take a photo of any slide, take a photo of that one, because that's got the address. How am I doing for time? I think I've done it. Right, thank you very much.